Good morning and welcome to what we're calling the 14th and a half Conference of African American Financial Professionals, broadcast into your homes and offices across the nation. On behalf of the college, thank you for taking the time to attend the largest conference of Black financial services professionals in the industry. Your advocacy, your passion, and your purpose for improving this profession and our communities is appreciated and recognized. We have 1,352 registered attendees for today's event, which is the highest attendance in the conference's history and surpasses our stated goal of last year of 1,000 attendees. Last year in Atlanta, Fox 5 anchor Deidre Dukes and radio veteran Rick CAAFP promised to do a story on this year's conference if we hit that 1,000 attendee milestone. We've already reached out to them in preparation for next year, and we hope to welcome them in person to shine a light on our 15th annual conference in Atlanta. I'll echo Mike James's appreciation for all of our sponsors supporting this event and helping the college move forward on its initiatives to increase diversity and inclusion in our industry. This year's event looks different, but the quality of our presenters and the knowledge they'll deliver remains the same. See, I remember last year's event, my first as president, especially the excellent panel sponsored by State Farm when we had Dominic Wilkins, Steve Stout, Rick CAAFP. Wow, such a stimulating, engaging discussion left me feeling hopeful and motivated for the future. If you haven't already read it, I would invite you all to read Steve's book, The Tanning of America. He traces how the tanning phenomena raised a generation of Black, Hispanic, white, and Asian consumers who have the same mental complexion based on shared experiences and values rather than the increasingly irrelevant demographic boxes that have boxed in corporate America. And speaking of State Farm, I want to offer a special thanks to Rand Harbin and his wife Kelly, who gave $6,500 as an investment in our African American scholarships program while offering a challenge to the profession to offer their financial resources to support this noble cause. Thank you, Rand and Kelly. I also want to recognize a few folks who have passed that meant so much to the Black community and the fight for equality, fairness, and opportunity. Elijah Cummings was a civil rights advocate and a proud member of the Baltimore community. From his birth in 1951 to over 23 years representing Maryland's 7th Congressional District in the House of Representatives. C.T. Vivian was a minister, an author, a close friend of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. King called him the greatest preacher to ever live. And John Lewis was a civil rights leader well known for his prominence in one of the movement's seminal marches across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. And he later represented Georgia's 5th District in the House of Representatives for over 33 years. America lost these three icons since our last conference, but we didn't lose their fierce testimony. It's logged in our national archives and in our collective conscience. There are several other names I want to mention at the outset. Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks, and the many others that have lost their lives. I'd like to ask for a brief moment of silence to recognize their lives, their impact, and their legacy that they left behind for us to continue forward for the cause. Thank you. I mentioned them to give perspective to our collective cause, stopping racial injustice and improving racial inequality in this nation we all love. Given the national unrest and the college's mission of benefiting society, I'll discuss our bold plan on these issues in a few moments. However, let's start where we ended with my 4 calls to action from last year's event in Atlanta. First, I called on all attendees to increase their personal production. While 2020 has thrown us more than one curveball, I hope you were successful in this quest. Second, I asked all attendees to recruit and mentor a new Black professional into the business. Success does not end with a referral, but continues with constant mentorship that promotes career longevity. Third, I preached about our need to share the knowledge by joining or starting your own study group. I've talked to many financial professionals during this COVID-19 pandemic, and to a person, they've told me they've never been busier. If you're sharing your knowledge, your prospecting strategies, and your technical expertise, the industry is in a prime position to continue to gain back the trust that we lost following the 2008 recession. In addition, I asked everyone to find a friend and bring them to this event. And the proof of that follow-through is in our record-setting attendance. So thank you again. Now, all of these calls to actions were about strengthening both you as a professional and the profession as a whole. If you achieve these goals, you gain greater wealth, but also greater influence in your company. So this year, I have a 5th call to action. I ask you to go to your leadership of your firm and serve as a voice and a resource on promoting continued progress for the Black community. Because while we've made progress over time, momentum is continually curbed by financial incentives, political motives, ingrained capitalistic cultures, and America's fleeting attention span. Instead, wealth remains pervasive in its bubbles and elusive to those who knew just enough to get by. You see, there's this funny thing about wealth that people who have it know well. It's generally sustainable, it's generational, and wealth begets wealth. Now, and while there's pockets of wealth in Black America, assessing the wealth gap between the average white and Black family clearly shows the alarming disparity. The median white family has $171,000 of wealth. The average Black household has $17,600 of wealth. Land has generally been viewed as the gatekeeper to wealth creation. Yet even then, Blacks face struggles due to redlining and a subprime lending mortgage scheme that triggered the 2008 recession, causing Blacks to lose 53% of their already deficit wealth. While our nation has listened to the Black community's plight, they haven't heard and understood those marginalized and mistreated for too long. The solutions have always been Band-Aids. The funding has always been conditional or short-lived. And the public's desire for a quick fix to a centuries-old problem has always derailed its chances of success from the start. No more. As the only nonprofit accredited institution dedicated to financial services education, the American College of Financial Services believes that the financial services industry has a pressing obligation to effect change, given its role in helping people accumulate, retain, and distribute wealth. I believe that only with a bold plan that targets our corporations to promote upward mobility and our communities to bolster wealth creation can we truly rise as one. See, this request is bigger than a commitment to hiring a few more Black men and women, or setting up a diversity council, or cloaking systemic racism and the struggles Black people face with a problem that means well, but stops just a few short steps of feeling uncomfortable. See, we need a more aggressive approach, led by a broader coalition, including all sectors of the financial services industry. There's so much power in numbers, and if you read my op-ed a few weeks ago in Barron's, you'll know that the college is focused on bringing all sectors of this industry, banking, brokerage, asset management, alternatives, and life insurance, together to respond to today's national unrest by promoting racial equality and financial well-being. So, how can we do that? I look at the college's 4 Steps Forward plan in 2 parts. There's a corporate side and there's a community side of initiatives. At the community level, we must develop financial literacy programs designed to address systemic wealth inequality. The United States is the world's largest economy, but according to Standard & Poor's Financial Literacy Survey, it ranks tied for 14th with Switzerland in financial literacy. We believe a committed approach that leverages practical, purposeful, applied financial knowledge can make a major impact. We propose that the financial services industry explore partnerships to target financial literacy programs to Black women in communities across America. You may ask, why start with Black women instead of Black men? The failure to empower Black women has been an identified yet underfunded program for too long. As far back as 2010, sociologist Marika Chang revealed that a single white woman had a median wealth of $42,600 compared to $5 for a single Black woman. There are many reasons for this disparity, including career development, educational priorities, and the fact that Black mothers make up a disproportionate percentage of single-parent households. The most powerful statistic came from the Pew Research, which indicated that in 2017, 89% of Black single parents were female. Second, we can avoid the isolated impact approach of the past that seeks to invent independent solutions to major societal problems. Let's instead follow the stead of America's pharmaceutical companies in the race for a COVID-19 vaccine. Let's bring together all of the profession's top organizations in a collective impact initiative that mirrors organizational capital with the profession's top thinkers to create a massive knowledge transfer to the Black community. This ambitious initiative is more than just charity and engagement. It aims to bring together national organizations and local communities who want to not only see change, but also be a part of it. Through this work, we will eventually develop a template for impact that is customizable to specific community concerns. This project will combine top-down organizational strength with bottom-up community involvement to affect real, lasting change. Third, I'm talking to a group of hardworking, ambitious financial professionals. Yet, for so many Blacks, their career arc runs into a wall. A recent report from the Center for Talent Innovation noted that just 31% of Black professionals have access to senior leaders at work, a major networking and face-time flaw that's historically tied to career progression in Black America. Blacks need far more opportunity to move from middle management into senior management and executive roles, including corporate board service, positions of power and influence. An executive program focused on communication, interpersonal, leadership skills taught by Black executives and educators for Black up-and-comers. Additionally, we would create a mini program for white senior executives to be colleagues and mentors and sponsors and develop them in their roles within the company. See, this kind of corporate commitment at the highest levels is simply not negotiable. Finally, as I mentioned in my talk last year, we need to improve professional diversity in financial services. Purposeful professional development comes in part through educational and networking events like this one. But it also comes by figuring out as an industry how to recruit more Blacks and develop a best practice template for Black study groups. We also want to execute on a massive effort to have financial services firms and trade organizations recruit their top white advisors to serve as mentors. Fellowship and collaboration in these study groups will help retention, so diversity doesn't just check a box, then become a revolving door. As we dive deeper into these initiatives, we need your expertise to turn ideas into action. We need your perspectives on the profession and how it can best impact Black communities. And we need your boots on the ground support to implement and iterate real time to achieve the sustainable generational change we all seek. We'll share a digestible one-pager on these proposed pillars in the days following this event. And we look forward to your feedback and you talking on that fifth call to action I mentioned earlier by being an advocate in your firm. But the good news is that we weren't the beginning these efforts from the starting line. We're following in the footsteps of advocates for our cause. Lee Bethel is one of those people fighting each day for a more equal profession and a fairer society. As president of Comprehensive Benefit Services, Inc., Lee has been a leader in the insurance, employee benefit, investment, and financial services field since 1979. He's a graduate of Morehouse, a Morehouse brother, a historically black college that has conferred more bachelor degrees on black men than any institution in the world. Not only is he a guiding light for our profession, but he's a good man of extraordinary character and a great representative of the American college and its mission to benefit society. To recognize his service to the profession and the college, I'm happy to announce that Lee will be inducted into the college's Alumni Hall of Fame on November 5th. Let me pause a moment so we can all congratulate Lee on this honor and his distinguished career in financial services. Now, there is so much more work left to do. I don't say that to paint a daunting road ahead, but instead to highlight the immense opportunities in front of us. Through your personal work and the collective initiatives we undertake together, we'll rise as one to better our profession and the black community. So stay safe, be well, and continue to be financial stewards for your clients and your community. Thank you.